What if your DNA isn't something fixed, like a locked machine, but something living, something that can be rewritten, reprogrammed, awakened? What if it behaves more like a piece of software, waiting for a command, a signal, a single word that unlocks its hidden potential? And what if that word isn't a drug or a surgical procedure, but a vibrational key, ancient, powerful, and forgotten? This isn't fantasy. This is ancient truth, buried in forbidden books, whispered through time, recorded in the most secret grimoire ever known to man. The grimoire of Thoth, a word so powerful that it was hidden from humanity, not because it didn't work, but because it worked too well. Even now, with all the scientific tools in the world, we still cannot fully understand its power. But what we can now prove is that your body is far more than it appears. It is a highly intelligent receiver, an antenna built to tune into the deepest frequencies of the universe. Modern science has slowly begun to catch up to what the ancients always knew. Your body is not just matter. It is energy. Your DNA isn't just a physical code passed down through your parents. It is also a vibrational device, capable of receiving and transmitting information in the form of energy, sound, and light. And what you're about to discover may forever shift the way you think about your own body, your mind, and your soul. The truth has been with you all along. The ability to change your life, heal your body, awaken your purpose, and unlock ancestral wisdom. It's already inside of you. The question is, are you ready to remember it? The ancient sages understood something that science is only beginning to grasp. In one sacred text, it says, "If you do not make yourself equal to God, you will not understand Him." This doesn't mean claiming superiority, but stepping beyond the limits of fear, time, and identity. To understand the divine, you must rise above the temporary and become something greater. You must allow yourself to dissolve, to grow, to become something eternal. This expansion isn't about ego. It's about alignment. It's about returning to the source. For years, scientists dismissed over 90% of our DNA as junk because they didn't know what it did. They assumed if something couldn't be measured or explained, it must be useless. But that was one of the greatest missteps in modern biology, a confession of ignorance disguised as knowledge. What if that so-called junk DNA is actually the most advanced part of you? What if it functions like a spiritual receiver, an antenna designed to pick up signals from higher planes of consciousness? What if it holds the memory of your soul, your lineage, and your purpose? This is where the controversial work of Russian biophysicist Pyotr Garyaev becomes so important. He proposed that DNA emits energy even when the physical molecule is removed, a phenomenon known as the phantom DNA effect. He believed DNA functions like a fractal antenna, capable of receiving, storing, and transmitting information through waves of light and sound. Think of your DNA as a biological internet, a living system of communication, connecting you to a vast network of intelligence. Your body is no longer just a vehicle. It becomes a finely tuned device aligned with universal frequencies. But if this antenna is so advanced, why do most people live disconnected, overwhelmed, and lost in static? Why does life feel chaotic instead of harmonious? The answer is simple. The antenna is real, but the signal is distorted. We are constantly flooded with mental noise, emotional fear, and environmental stress that scrambles our internal frequency. It's like having the most powerful radio imaginable, but leaving it stuck between stations, never realizing it's capable of playing the most beautiful music you've ever heard. We are tuned into fear, confusion, and chaos instead of clarity, harmony, and cosmic truth. Ancient Egyptian teachings, especially those attributed to Thoth, recognized this long ago. In the Emerald Tablets, Thoth wrote, "In man is the balance of all things." This phrase echoes one of the most important Hermetic principles: as above, so below. If the universe is made of vibrating energy, then we must also be made of that same pattern. Your DNA, then, is not just a biological material. It is the material expression of a cosmic law. It is the link between your body and the stars, your thoughts and the infinite, your form and the formless. You are not separate from the universe. You are one with it. Your DNA is not a mistake. It is the blueprint of divine design. But the truth is, the design has never been the problem. The receiver is not broken. The problem lies in what we're feeding it, the stories we tell ourselves, the emotions we carry, the beliefs we've inherited. And this is where the message becomes personal. Have you ever felt a lump in your throat before a painful conversation? Butterflies in your stomach when you felt deep love? These aren't just poetic phrases. They're examples of your biology reacting instantly to your thoughts and emotions. This is epigenetics in real time. Your body listens to everything your mind says. Every thought sends a message. Every belief writes a code. Your DNA is the hardware. Your beliefs, your emotions, your environment, they are the software. You are programming yourself every single day. Dr. Bruce Lipton, in his book The Biology of Belief, shows that a cell's response depends on how it perceives its environment. If it feels love, it opens up and grows. If it senses fear, it contracts and prepares to defend itself. That changes its genetic behavior. Now apply that to yourself. You are made of trillions of cells. Your thoughts are the instructions. What are you telling your body to become? If random daily thoughts already change your biology, imagine what would happen if you focused your intention through a single, sacred word, one perfectly tuned to the right frequency. What if that word could act like a divine command, rewriting your energy, healing your past, restoring your system, and unlocking your forgotten gifts? It would be like going from an old, corrupted computer to a brand new, optimized operating system, faster, lighter, clearer. This is not theory. This is the forgotten science of vibration. This is where the Hermetic principle begins. All is mind. The universe is mental. Everything that exists began first as a thought. The material world is the echo of invisible belief. This is what the ancient alchemists knew. Turning lead into gold was only a metaphor. The real gold was always consciousness. The great work of the alchemist was to transform the mind, to refine the soul through focus, discipline, and belief. They knew that thought was the true philosopher's stone. The magic wasn't outside, it was within. What Bruce Lipton now calls biology of belief, they once called sacred alchemy. And when you understand this, you realize the real revolution isn't scientific, it's spiritual. It's not about discovering something new, but remembering something eternal. Your DNA holds more than just your eye color or your height. It holds memory, not just your memory, but the memory of those who came before you. Epigenetic research now shows that trauma, fear, and emotional patterns can be passed through generations. In a famous experiment, mice were trained to fear the smell of cherry blossoms. Their children and grandchildren also feared that smell, despite never being trained. The fear was inherited. But here's the miracle. If trauma can be passed on, so can strength, wisdom, love, and genius. You are not an isolated person. You are the living result of centuries of survival, miracles, dreams, and divine purpose. You are not an individual. You are a living library. This is why Thoth's sacred word matters, because it may not be a command to create something new, but a vibrational password to unlock something already inside you, something ancient, something divine. This word, like a key, could access the locked files in your soul. It doesn't create genius. It awakens it. It doesn't teach you your purpose. It reminds you. It doesn't add to you. It strips away everything that isn't you. Thoth was known as the scribe, the one who recorded all things in the Hall of Amenti, the mythic realm where all soul memory is stored. This fits perfectly with the alchemical law. Dissolve and coagulate. Before you can become gold, you must first dissolve the lead. You must let go of inherited fear, false identity, and emotional wounds passed down through bloodlines. The sacred word doesn't build something new. It removes the blocks, the lies, the layers of dust. It clears the path so your light can shine again. This is vibrational purification, a cleansing of your spiritual hard drive, a return to your original design. And it all begins in silence. Before every powerful word is spoken, there is a stillness. Before creation, there was the void. Before a great symphony, there is a pause. Before you can speak the word that changes everything, you must quiet the noise within you, the world's chaos, your racing mind, the doubts you've inherited. You must turn the volume down, not just in your environment, but in your heart. The first step isn't to speak, it's to listen, to create space, to prepare the temple inside you. And there's a tool to help you do that. It's called heart coherence, discovered by the HeartMath Institute. It's a simple technique that syncs your heart and brain through steady breathing. Inhale for 5 seconds. Exhale for 5 seconds. Breathe gently. As you do, your body enters a state of harmony. Your mind becomes clearer. Your nervous system begins to relax. This isn't just calming, it's transformational. Your scattered thoughts settle. Your internal signal becomes strong. You go from static to clarity, from noise to stillness. In this state, your DNA antenna stops picking up chaos and starts broadcasting truth. You are no longer reacting. You are creating. This is your inner alchemy. This is your blackening, the sacred silence before transformation. You are building the inner temple, polishing the mirror, tuning your instrument. And once this temple is complete, once the silence is deep enough, the moment comes. The word is finally spoken. It is not shouted. It is not whispered. It doesn't rise from your throat. It emerges from deep behind your tongue, resonating in the center of your chest. Your heart hears it and instantly recognizes it, not as something new, but as something ancient, something it has waited lifetimes to remember. And in that moment, the real awakening begins. The power you're looking for has never been in the exact pronunciation of a word like a secret code. It's not about saying something perfectly or mimicking a sacred chant. Real power lives in the moment where three things happen all at once: the sound you speak, the harmony of your entire being, and the clear, unwavering intention behind your words. These three must align in the same instant for true transformation to begin. Think of a normal light bulb. It gives off light, but the energy is scattered. It illuminates a room but lacks focus. That's how most people speak. Words are spoken, but they don't carry focused energy. Now think of a laser. It's just light too, but its beams are perfectly synchronized. And because of that inner coherence, it can cut through steel. That is the power of a word when spoken from a completely aligned state. The moment you do this, something happens that's beyond explanation. Time pauses. The world around you seems to fall silent. All doubt, all hesitation, all mental noise fades. There is only clarity. You don't just hear the sound through your ears. You feel it ripple through every cell in your body. It's not a mental process. It's a full body command. A wave of vibration that your biology immediately understands and accepts. It resets your system, like pressing a divine reboot button. It's not just a word anymore. It becomes a living pulse that reorganizes your entire being. Thoth spoke of this moment in the Emerald Tablets. He said, "When the word has lost its sound, you can command the elements." That means the sound doesn't need to be heard by your ears. It becomes an inner frequency, a silent pulse. The real power of the word isn't in how it sounds on the outside, but in how it resonates within. It's a practical expression of the Hermetic law of vibration. Nothing is still. Everything moves. Everything vibrates. When you align your inner frequency with your purest intention, you create a wave of energy that ripples through your body and reorganizes your physical reality. This moment of alignment sends a clear command to your cells. And once that message is received, the system can't go back to the way it was. Just like a computer that's received a major update, your body has to reboot so the new program can take over. And it's during that reboot that healing happens. Transformation begins, and your deepest potential starts to unfold. But here's the truth many people never hear. You never healed yourself. You never had to. You simply gave your body permission to awaken the self-healing system it always had. The word is not the cure. It's the key that unlocks the cure. You're not importing something new into your body. You're just removing the blocks that kept you from remembering who you already were. You're returning to your original divine blueprint. When you speak from that aligned state, your heart sends out a powerful electromagnetic signal. That signal moves instantly through your body's water. Every cell hears it. Your DNA, those tightly coiled antennas inside each cell, receive the message. And this is where science begins to echo what ancient wisdom has always said. Epigenetics tells us that the environment around our cells, especially the signals they receive, can switch genes on or off. When you're in fear or stress, genes linked to inflammation and illness become active. But when you speak from clarity, love, and intention, those genes deactivate. In their place, genes for regeneration, healing, joy, and immunity switch on. Your body responds not to words alone, but to frequency, intention, and coherence. This is how miracles happen. not by defying science, but by activating its highest potential. This isn't imagination or wishful thinking. It's a cascade of biological, electrical, and chemical reactions triggered by a single powerful frequency of consciousness. It proves that your awareness, your intention, isn't just a product of the brain. It is the organizing force that comes before your biology. Consciousness isn't something you have. It's something you are. And when your mind aligns with your heart and your words, your entire reality begins to shift. Now we've reached the hidden truth. The one word of power you've been seeking is not some ancient chant in a forgotten tongue. It's not a sacred phrase whispered in mystery schools. It is the vibrational sound of your true name, not your birth name, not the label given by others, but the name that captures the full vibration of your soul, your purpose, your divine essence. Some call it the golden name. Some feel it in phrases like, I am love, I am truth, or I am free. When spoken from absolute coherence, this becomes more than a statement. It becomes a revelation. You are declaring to yourself, to the universe, and to creation itself, I am. In the ancient schools of initiation, every seeker eventually came to this realization. The path ended not in gaining something new, but in remembering what was already inside. Science cannot explain this name because it belongs to no one else. It is your soul's signature. It cannot be transferred. It cannot be stolen. And when you speak it from alignment, it activates your entire system. It sends a command that can be felt in every atom of your being. And from that moment on, your body and life begin to obey the new order. But now, the question arises, once you've changed, what do you do with that change? Power isn't the end of the journey. It's the beginning of responsibility. Having the ability to heal, to command, to shift reality is only part of the path. The deeper test is how you use that power. In Egyptian mythology, Thoth stands at the final judgment. The heart of the soul is weighed against the feather of Ma'at, truth, justice, cosmic balance. It's not about morality. It's not about right or wrong. It's about energetic weight. Is your heart light, or is it heavy with fear, anger, pride, or confusion? Power is neutral. It doesn't make you good or bad. It simply magnifies who you already are. If your heart holds selfishness, power will amplify greed. If your heart holds fear, power may become control. But if your heart is clear, power becomes peace. That's why this knowledge was once forbidden, not because we didn't deserve it, but because we weren't ready. The ancients knew that power without inner purity would only lead to destruction. That's why the greatest secret isn't the word. It's the inner state required to use it safely. The scaffolding of rituals, breaths, sounds, and teachings were never the goal. They were the training wheels. Once you are aligned, once your being has become the temple, the rituals fall away. You no longer need to use the word. You have become the word. You no longer read the instructions. You are the living manual. You no longer seek permission. You realize you've always had the authority. When this happens, something profound shifts. You begin to radiate coherence, harmony, healing, not through action, but through presence. You become a lighthouse without trying, a transmitter of peace. Your very energy recalibrates the space around you. This is the rubedo, The final phase of spiritual alchemy. The philosopher's stone was never a physical object. It was the awakened human, the one who transmuted their pain into power, their wounds into wisdom, their separation into unity. The alchemist doesn't use the stone. He becomes it. Thoth spoke of drinking from the cup of wisdom, not as a task, but as a natural state. He didn't chase immortality. He became it. He no longer searched for truth. He became the truth. And so do you. The search ends when you realize the grimoire was always you. You were never looking for something outside. You were being prepared to awaken what's already inside. This isn't the final chapter. It's the beginning of your universal role. Because once you've awakened, you become part of something much bigger than yourself. You become a node in a web of consciousness that stretches across time and space. Every time you align yourself, you help others align too. Your personal transformation becomes part of a global shift. You don't even have to speak it. Your frequency speaks for you. When you heal yourself, you send signals into the collective that others pick up on. This is why awakening has always been both a personal and a cosmic journey. As within, so without. When your inner world is clear and aligned, the outer world reflects that. Opportunities flow. Synchronicities become normal. What once felt impossible becomes inevitable. This isn't fantasy. It's what happens when consciousness, intention, and energy are in harmony. But with great power comes sacred responsibility. Every thought, every emotion, every whisper of intention now carries real weight. What once seemed harmless, gossip, judgment, negativity, feels jarring now. You sense the ripples. You feel the impact. And this awareness births right action. Not from rules, not from fear, but from love. Because now you understand that harming another is harming yourself. There is no separation. You are connected to everything. And so you choose to walk gently, speak carefully, love deeply. Because every moment becomes a chance to align. True mastery reveals its final truth. The more powerful you become, the more humble you grow. The greatest masters don't shout. They don't need attention. Their presence shifts the air in a room. They serve, not from weakness, but from deep strength. They don't command with force. They guide with light. They've realized the final secret. Real power is invisible. It works through love, through clarity, through a quiet heart. And so the circle closes. The journey that began with searching ends with recognition. You no longer seek the grimoire. You realize you are the grimoire. The techniques dissolve. The rituals fade. What remains is the truth. You are a living expression of divine consciousness in human form. The seeker and the source have merged. You are no longer someone looking for God. You are God remembering itself. You've returned to the still point, the breath, the silence, the now. But now, you are no longer the same. If you've made it this far, then you've already begun the process of remembering. This message didn't find you by chance. It reached you because you were ready. If this truth stirred something in your heart, type "I am" in the comments. Let us find each other. Let the awakening begin. This kind of message takes deep energy to create. If you feel called to support this work, check the first comment. But even if you do nothing else, know this: your time, Your presence, your attention, these are sacred. If this message awakens you, share it with someone who's ready to. And don't stop here. A special video is waiting for you. Click it now. Dive deeper. The next step is already prepared, and I'll meet you there on the other side.